Hello, this is the Provoke Prawn, and this is the Turtle Beach Elite Pro Professional Surround Sound Gaming Headset. I'm really impressed with this headset so far. It's very comfortable, the quality is there, and it's a surprise Turtle Beach isn't necessarily a name you'd associate with a decent gaming headset straight out of the box. If I was asked for a list or recommendations on who I think would produce good Headband headsets, then Turtle Beach doesn't necessarily come to the forefront of mind, but it actually is really good. The design is pretty sweet. It's just about £169 you're looking at, but straight away out of the box you can get this sort of idea of the design quality. You see this good strong headband. It has these tensioners at the top for making the feeling tighter, and then straight away you've also got a lot of flexibility and movement here, and deep leather head cups. I'll try and show you now. Bit difficult to see that, but the depth of those ear cups is fantastic. There's really feel like it all envelops your ear, and you don't feel the pressure of the drivers and the inside of the speakers on your ear like you do with many other headsets. It's also sort of benefits from the noise cancelling capabilities there. I mean, it's not active noise cancelling by any means, but it blocks out a lot of the sound, which is interesting. Also, the microphone, as you can see, is pretty decent quality, very flexible, bends in and out, up and down nicely, and it picks up a lot of sound. One gripe I did have with this is that the mic has a side tone which is on constantly, which basically means you can hear your own voice. The closer the mic is to your mouth, the louder you can hear your own voice within the headphones, which I hate, because as most people, I don't enjoy listening to my own voice. Usually you can set in Windows audio settings to be able to listen to a mic, so you can check out whether it's working properly and hear the quality of it. But this is a setting on the headset itself which you cannot change. It's constantly on. Now I think the reason for that is because the depth of the ear cups is so strong that it blocks out so much noise that sometimes you can't hear your own voice when you're talking. So obviously the idea is probably to prevent you shouting, you can get that sort of feedback so that you can hear yourself. But it isn't too bad when the mic's like here. You don't really notice it, but when it gets closer, if you put it closer because you want to speak more loudly to people, then it certainly starts to pick up, which can be a bit annoying. Other highlights to this one is a micro USB connection here, which is interesting. That goes from micro USB into a dongle, which plugs into the USB socket that works as the amplifier. This plug is disconnectable, so this is great if it gets snagged. I really like this sort of thing. If it gets snagged on something and tugs, then it'll disconnect, and therefore you're not going to have that problem where you're damaging your headset by constantly pulling on it. The other thing is this cord is absolutely ridiculously long. It's a really long cord. It has a small box on it here for muting the mic, and also a volume wheel. Nothing too fancy, but it's tiny. It's really small, which means it's very light, and it doesn't have that problem that some other headsets have when you get a box like this on there where it's constantly pulling on your ears. Don't find that issue. The cord is very long. It's not braided. It's just a standard rubber cable, which is kind of a bit mediocre. I mean, I really like the braided cable. It kind of gives it that quality feel, which this doesn't have, but it is an excellent length. It could verge on being a bit too long, actually, because there is a danger that, I mean, I have got tied up in it a few times when getting up to go to get a drink or something, which can be frustrating. Other highlights to this headset, which you don't see elsewhere, is there is a system in place called eyeglass relief, which is where you can adjust setting within the ear cups for if you wear spectacles like I do, where you can set it so that the ear cups don't put pressure on your glasses and don't cause problems with it. It accounts for that, which is quite clever, and I've not really seen that anywhere else. It also, the USB as cross-platform support, so there's also a cable in the box with a 3.5mm jack. It also has Dolby Digital DTS, just has DTS Headphone X 7.1 surround sound, and there's also a built-in functionality when you download the software to activate a mode called Superhuman Hearing, which is interesting in that you just press F10 on the keyboard to turn it on and off. and that's meant to improve the sound quality in games where you can hear enemies trying to sneak up on you, or sounds that might indicate there's a threat nearby if you're playing first-person shooter, for example. That hotkey makes it great to be able to turn it on and off, but actually the audio quality is superb because the ear cups are really encompassing. It's just a really great sound from in terms of any sort of input. So music is great, films are great. We used it on Skype and Slack and other Discord and voice chat services, and it's fantastic. Playing in game is also really good. For the price, it's a really superb little bit of kit. I do find there's a bit this movement here can be a bit frustrating. It's quite stiff, so I mean, it's good and bad in a way. When you put it on, sometimes the angle of the ear cups is off, and it just feels a bit uncomfortable. But then you can easily twist it into position. It's one of those headsets that doesn't sit loose. It's not going to fly off. It's quite a tight fit. It's comfortable in that way, and I like that. That's really good. Basically, there's not many gripes about this here. I mean, it is a really good little bit of kit. It's comfortable. I mean, with these deep leather ear cups, it can possibly get a bit hot after a long session, but I've been comfortably had days where I've worn it all day long and then played in the evening as well. So wearing it, listening to music while working, and then playing games, and not had issues with it. It's an excellent, so really well designed bit of kit, excellent sound quality, comfortable, really comfortable. If you've seen my previous reviews, that I really prefer the leather cups, and these ones are so deep. You don't often see that, so just excellent in terms of comfort levels, but also in terms of noise suppression. I really wish there was an active noise cancelling headset to block out external sounds, but this sort of does that job to some degree anyway, just from the depth of the cups and the way it sits on your head. So yeah, lots going for this headset. Definitely should be considered if it's on your list. If you're thinking about buying it, it's worth checking out. It stands well against some of the other big names that you'd expect in the market, and it's affordable. I mean, it's not the highest end. Obviously, it's virtual surround sound, and it's never going to be quite as good as the full experience, but it is pretty impressive, and I literally cannot think of many gripes in terms of issues with it. And if you don't have complaints, and the positional audio is good, the sound quality is good, it's good for all sorts of uses, then it's definitely worth it. There you go. So this is once again been the Turtle Beach Elite Pro Professional Surround Sound Gaming Headset. You can pick one up for about £169, and it should definitely be considered.